When it rains, it pours. Arsenal's rough week explained. 2 losses in a row. A cup dream gone. Injuries piling up. But is the season really over? Let us break it all down for you. Imagine being 9 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Imagine having a chance to win 4 trophies in a single season. Imagine your whole fan community buzzing with excitement and hope. Now imagine watching all of that good feeling get washed away in the space of just 1 week. That is exactly what Arsenal fans are going through right now. And if you are part of this community, we know you felt it too. So sit down, grab your cup of tea or coffee, and let us talk about everything that happened, what it means, and most importantly, where Arsenal go from here. Saturday brought one of those results that you almost have to see twice to believe. Arsenal, the leaders of the Premier League, lost 2-1 to Southampton in the FA Cup quarter-finals. Southampton are not even in the top division right now. They are in the Championship, which is the second tier of English football, and they beat Arsenal at St Mary's in front of a very loud and very happy home crowd. It hurts. There is no other way to say it. Think about it. When was the last time you felt genuinely shocked by an Arsenal result? Was it this one, or have you seen worse? How did it actually happen? Let us go back to the beginning of the game. Arsenal were without 2 of their most important players. Declan Rice, who has been one of the best midfielders in England this season, was not playing because of injury. Bukayo Saka, the electric winger who can change a game on his own, was also missing. Those are 2 massive absences. It is like trying to bake a cake and finding out you have no eggs and no flour. You can still try, but something is always going to be missing. Ross Stewart gave Southampton the lead in the first half. It was the kind of goal that came from direct physical play, the sort of thing that does not usually trouble Arsenal. But on this day, the defenders did not handle it well. The Arsenal that fans have come to know this season usually deals with long balls and direct attacks quite comfortably. Not on Saturday. The defending was all over the place and Southampton made them pay for it. Arsenal did fight back though. Victor Gyökeres, who came on as a substitute, scored to make it 1-1. For a moment, it felt like Arsenal might just scrape through, but football can be cruel, and in the 85th minute, Shea Charles scored from the edge of the area to give Southampton the win. One moment of quality from a Championship player, and Arsenal's FA Cup dream was over. 85 winning goal minute, 2 successive defeats, last trophy won in 2020. What Arteta said after the game, Mikel Arteta did not hide from it. He spoke to the press and was honest about what went wrong. He said the first goal came in a very unusual way for his team. He admitted they did not manage the long balls well enough. He said it was difficult to explain but gave credit to Southampton. That is actually a sign of a manager who knows his team made mistakes and is not going to pretend otherwise. You have to adapt to the wind, the injuries. You have to adapt to difficult situations in the season. Now we have to show what we are made of. Mikel Arteta, after the Southampton defeat, he also talked about how Arsenal had moments in the game where they were dominant in and around the box. They had big chances but did not take them. In football, when you do not take your chances, you often get punished. And Southampton punished them in the worst possible way right at the end of the game. There was also a painful comment from Arteta about the injuries. He said, you have to adapt to difficult situations. You have to pick yourself up after bad results. He is right, of course. But easier said than done when your key players are dropping like flies and your second choice squad is struggling to keep up. Your opinion, do you think Arteta picked the right starting 11 for the Southampton game, or should he have used stronger players even at the risk of fatigue? The week before was not great either. Here is the thing about Saturday. It did not come out of nowhere. Just days before the Southampton game, Arsenal had lost the League Cup final to Manchester City. The final score was 2-0. City, even though many people felt they were not playing their best football this season, still managed to beat Arsenal on the big day at Wembley. After that final, Arteta described the pain of losing as being like a ball of poison in his stomach. You could feel how much it hurt him, and now just days later, there is another dose of that same poison. 2 cup finals or cup games in big competitions, 2 losses. The quadruple dream, which means winning all 4 major trophies in one season, is completely finished. The treble, which would have meant winning 3 of them, is also gone. That is a lot of disappointment packed into a very short time. What makes it harder to swallow is that this Arsenal team has spent a huge amount of money over the past few seasons. There have been some big signings, fans have seen the squad grow and improve, and yet the trophy cabinet has stayed empty since the FA Cup win back in 2020. That is over 2,000 days without lifting any silverware. For a club with Arsenal's history and ambition, that is a long time to wait. Be honest, has the lack of a trophy since 2020 started to affect how you feel about the direction of this Arsenal squad under Arteta? What the fans are saying, you knew the fan mailbag was going to be fiery after this one, and it did not disappoint. One supporter called it phase 2 of Bottlemageddon, a word that has been used more and more to describe Arsenal seemingly going quiet when the big moments arrive. Another fan from Los Angeles called himself a gooner and admitted that even though the league is still very much on, right now it just hurts and sucks. That kind of honest reaction is very relatable. Then there was the sharper criticism from a contributor called Stewie Griffin, a well-known voice in the Arsenal fan community. The words used were not gentle. They talked about El Fraudo and referenced the money spent over the years with no trophies to show for it. They mentioned that Arteta has been in charge for over 2,065 days and that his only major trophy win came using the squad that his predecessor Unai Emery left behind. Whether you agree with that level of criticism or not, it is the kind of thing that gets attention because it comes from a place of deep frustration. On the more measured side, some fans noted that Ben White, the right-back, was below his best and that Gabriel, the Brazilian centre-back, has been diving a lot recently in a way that looks more panicked than clever. Those are fair observations. When a team is under pressure, little things like that start to show up more clearly. The Gabriel injury is a real worry. There is one part of Saturday's game that could matter much more than the scoreline. Gabriel Magalhaes, Arsenal's Brazilian centre-back, limped off during the game with what appeared to be a knee injury. Now, Arsenal's medical team will be checking how serious it is, but the timing could not be worse. Arsenal have a Champions League quarter-final first leg coming up against Sporting CP in Lisbon on Tuesday. That is just 3 days after the Southampton defeat. If Gabriel cannot play, Arsenal go into one of the biggest games of their season without one of their most experienced defenders. That is a serious problem. And with the Premier League title still up for grabs, you do not want to be losing key defensive players at this stage of the season. Prediction time, if Gabriel is ruled out for a few weeks, do you think Arsenal have enough defensive cover to protect their 9-point lead at the top of the table? The Southampton story is actually brilliant. Look, it hurts if you are an Arsenal fan, but can we just take a moment to appreciate what Southampton did? They are a championship club chasing promotion back to the Premier League. They went into a game against one of the best teams in England and they played with heart, organisation and belief. Their manager, Tonda Eckert, said the belief was always there and that it was never a problem for his players. There is also a beautiful bit of history involved. 50 years ago, Southampton famously shocked Manchester United in the FA Cup final. It is one of the most famous upsets in FA Cup history, a moment when a smaller club proved that anything is possible on the right day. Saturday felt like a reminder of that spirit. Southampton even wore a yellow and blue kit as a nod to that historic 1976 kit, giving the whole occasion an extra layer of meaning. And now they are in the FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley for the first time since 2021. On top of that, they have a big championship game against Wrexham on Tuesday as they chase promotion. 1 week, 2 massive games, all the pressure in the world, but they handled Arsenal first. Credit where credit is due. Their question as an Arsenal fan, can you admit that Southampton deserved to win on Saturday? Or do you think Arsenal would have won comfortably with Rice and Saka fit? But wait, the season is not over here is the thing that sometimes gets lost in all the noise after a bad result. Arsenal are still 9 points clear at the top of the Premier League with a handful of games to go. 9 points is a massive gap. Even if you are having a rough couple of weeks, 9 points means you are still the team to beat for the title. And winning the Premier League, especially for the first time in 22 years, would be the biggest thing this current generation of Arsenal players has ever done. The last time Arsenal won the league was in 2003 and 2004 when the Invincibles team, led by Thierry Henry and managed by Arsene Wenger, went a whole season without losing a game. That team is legendary. What this current team has a chance to do is write their own chapter in Arsenal history. Not the same chapter as the Invincibles, but their own chapter. And that chapter is still being written. Then there is the Champions League. Arsenal are still in the quarterfinals, which is the last 8 teams left in the whole of European football. Their opponents are Sporting CP, a Portuguese club who have been excellent in Europe this season. But Arsenal have the quality to go through. If they can find their best form over the next 2 legs, there is no reason why they cannot reach the semi-finals and then dream of the final. Season expectations, be honest with the community. Would you be happy with the Premier League title alone, or do you need Arsenal to go deep in the Champions League too for this season to feel like a success? The big question about Arteta, every bad result brings out the debate about Mikel Arteta. Is he the right man to take Arsenal to the next level? His supporters will point to how he has rebuilt the squad, how he has brought through young talent, how he has turned Arsenal from a mid-table team into consistent title contenders. They have a good point. The transformation over the last few years has been real and impressive, but his critics will point to the trophies or the lack of them. They will say that a manager who has spent over £1 billion on players and cannot win a major trophy is not delivering at the level the club demands. They will bring up the 2,000 plus days since the last trophy. They will ask whether Arteta can handle the big moments, the finals, the games where everything is on the line. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Arteta has done a lot of good things, but he also has to start winning major trophies. A Premier League title this season would silence many of his critics and would represent a genuine landmark for his tenure. Without it, the questions will keep getting louder. With it, he cements himself as a very important figure in Arsenal's story. The big one, if Arsenal win the Premier League this season but exit the Champions League in the quarterfinals, do you think Arteta deserves a new contract? What would your verdict be? What needs to happen next? The next few days are going to tell us a lot about this Arsenal team. The trip to Sporting CP on Tuesday is not going to be easy. Sporting play with incredible energy at home and their fans make a tremendous noise. Arsenal will need to be organised, disciplined and clinical. They cannot afford to give away sloppy goals the way they did against Southampton. The players who are fit need to step up. If Gabriel is out, the other defenders need to cover more ground and communicate better. If Rice is still not available, the midfield needs to be compact and careful. And whoever plays up front needs to be more decisive in front of goal. The chances were there against Southampton, but they were not taken. In the Champions League, you rarely get a second chance to score the goals you miss. After Sporting, there are Premier League games that need to be won. The 9-point lead is comfortable but not untouchable. Manchester City, who are second in the table, will not stop trying. They have shown all season that they can still win big games. Arsenal cannot afford to drop too many points in the home stretch. Every Premier League game from here to the end of the season matters. Final thoughts from us to the community. Look, it has been a tough week. 2 losses, 2 cup exits, injuries to key players, and a whole lot of noise in the media and on social platforms. It is okay to feel frustrated. It is okay to be angry. That is what it means to care about a football club. You invest your emotions, your weekends, your energy, and when things go wrong, it genuinely hurts. But here is what we want to leave you with. Arsenal are still top of the league. They are still in the Champions League, and they have a squad that, when fully fit and fully focused, is capable of beating anyone in England and Europe. The season is not over, far from it. The next chapter is about to be written, so we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us how you felt watching Southampton put that winner in. Tell us whether you believe in Arteta or whether your patience is running out. Tell us what you think needs to change. This community is at its best when we talk honestly about what we love, and right now what we love is going through something real. Come on, you Gunners, we still believe. Share your thoughts.